Yo, what's up viewers, it's your boy Blaze Hollow coming at you again with a very special trailer. This one is actually very interesting. It's going to take place from knowledge of different series that I love to read and watch. Especially the idea came from watching Ross's One Piece D&D. The story is called What If Deku Had a Roulette Ability? How does the roulette work? What is possible? What is impossible? If you want the answers to all of that, let's start that intro and get into it. People say that having a weird ability usually makes your life harder and impossible. Having a flashy ability usually gets you all the attention, and if you have a villainous power, people will expect you to be bad. So what happens if you technically have all of them together and you have no idea what you're gonna get? Well, I've had to live with that situation ever since I was 5 years old. Izuku was sitting in the middle of class writing down some notes on some of his abilities when he finally noticed that the entire class was getting upset at something. As he finally looked up from his notebook, seeing Bakugo standing on top of his desk claiming that he'll be the future #1 hero. But Kachan, what if I want to be the #1 hero? Bakugo actually started to sweat getting down from his desk. Oh, I didn't realize you were listening, Izuku. Just chill. There's no need to pull out the roulette. Izuku held up his hand as everybody saw a roulette spinner on it. Oh, come on. Don't be afraid. We played this game a few times. A little bit of roulette never really hurt anybody now, did it? Everybody in the room got a little bit more pale as they were getting ready to duck underneath their seats. Even the teacher didn't want to say anything in fear of being on the receiving end of one of the random abilities. Bakugo gritted his teeth as he was standing there in a fighting stance. Come on, man, put the roulette away. No one needs to be put in the crossfire of this. Izuku smiled, an innocent smile, not realizing how dangerous he really is as the roulette started to spin. Well then, let's see what I get. The spinner went round and round. Nobody could even read what was on the thing. Nobody knew what was going to happen until it finally stopped. It looks like I got the cage fruit this time, so you're still willing to throw hands with me, buddy? Bakugo took a light breath, realizing that the ability Izuku has this time isn't going to basically destroy the entire classroom, let alone the school itself. Maybe we'll throw hands later. Come on, let's give our teacher at least a chance to give us praises and not give him and our other classmates heart attacks. Izuku looked around, realizing everybody was ducking for cover like crazy. Jeez, I remember when I first started doing this, everybody got excited. Now everybody's ducking like a bunch of chickens. Seeing that the situation was diffusing, the teacher came out from underneath his desk along with the other students, making it look like nothing even happened in class. Right, as I was saying, it looks like our two future pros have gotten the top scores in the written exam along with the physical exam. Izuku Midoriya came in first, while Katsuki Bakugo came in second. Both of the boys were still standing in front of each other with a smile on their face. Bakugo thought that Izuku was finally off guard and went for a jab right at his midsection, only for Izuku to partially slide out of the way, leaving his arm out dangling, going through Bakugo. It seemed like for a second a metal binding was wrapping around him once he fell through his arm. Seriously, Deku, you couldn't let yourself just take a playful punch? You still had to use this ability on me? There is no such thing as a playful punch. I give you an inch and you'll take a mile, so have fun getting out of that, Bakugo. Teacher coughed a little bit to get everybody's attention on him. Please, can the both of you refocus framed from your actions until you're off school property. We were lucky to get a government funding to fix the building after the last incident. There's only a few minutes left before the bell rings. I don't think it's really necessary for you to cause any more issues in class, right?" Both of them nodded, and within a few minutes the bell did ring. As they were heading home, Bakugo decided to head his own way with his own group of friends. Izuku really didn't care. He knew he would probably meet up with his explosive friend tomorrow to do some training anyway. He decided to take the long way home as he was under an underpass when he started to hear the rattling of a manhole cover going back and forth. When he looked over, he saw a sludge-like substance starting to come out from underneath it, looking at him menacingly. "Sorry, kid. I didn't know he was in town, so I'm gonna need your body as a shield." Izuku just tilted his head as he flicked his wrist with the roulette hand as the dial started to spin. "Is that supposed to scare me? Trust me, man, I don't really recommend you getting too close to me." "I'll take my chances. It's not like a snot-nosed brat like you can really do anything to me." The sludge villain charged forward, trying to engulf Izuku in his sludge, but what he didn't realize that the roulette spinner finally stopped spinning and landed on Underworld. As a spiritual figure appeared behind both Izuku and the sludge villain, the first thing the spiritual-like humanoid did was scoop into the ground. This confused the villain because their surroundings changed a little bit. Instead of it being midday, it was now nightfall, and these Yakuza-looking people showed up out of nowhere, and when they looked to the wall at the far left, it seemed like some random guy was tied up. And before either of them could react, the Yakuza members unloaded their clips of bullets, separating the sludge villain from Izuku, who got caught in the crossfire. "Okay, so this is a new one. So you're called Underworld. I hope you maybe speak or will give me some understanding of your ability, please." Underworld stayed silent, but pointed to the ground and made a scooping motion. "Wait, are you saying because you scooped the ground those mafia guys showed up?" The sludge villain finally got out of the firing range of the mafia people that didn't seem to move for a few minutes until they stopped unloading their clips on the random person against the wall. "What is going on here? How did you summon those Yakuza people? And what are you talking to? This whole thing doesn't look right. We shouldn't be dealing with nighttime. It should be midday. What is going on here?" To be honest with you, I'm just as confused trying to figure out my ability, especially when it's random each time, making it more and more difficult, but I appreciate it. He coughed a little bit, getting some of the sludge out of his mouth. "Whatever I just did separated me from you, and I have to say your sludge tastes awful." Both of them stopped their bantering when they noticed the Yakuza guys walking right past them like they weren't even there, going to inspect on the dead body. And once the moment was done, the entire illusion seemed to disappear, making everything look like nothing even happened. The villain was freaking out, not understanding this kid's weird ability as he started to back away. "Stay away from me. Your ability is just weird. It's just too bizarre." "Hey, you're the one that attacked me, and now that things get a little bit out of your control, you want to run? That's not fair. That's not fun. I want to test out my new ability, so come on, fight me." "That's quite enough, young man. I do appreciate you holding off the villain until I could arrive." Izuku knew that voice, and when he went to turn around, nobody was behind him, only to hear the sound of a splattering across the walls of the underpass as he looked back behind him. And once he turned back around, he saw the symbol of peace himself along with the defeated villain all over the place. "Wow, you're fast." All Might was actually surprised by that reaction, used to seeing people run to him for his autograph or be very thankful for the rescue. "Well, I'm glad to see that you're alright, young man, but weren't you scared? You don't have to act tough in front of me. This is a safe place now." Izuku tilted his head like he didn't understand the question. "Not really. I was hoping to try out my new ability. I don't quite understand it, but my corporeal friend here seemed to scoop up something from the ground and cause a bunch of things to happen, but I guess I won't try it out any further." "I see. So you're telling me you just got your ability? No, not really. All Might face faulted on how casual the green-haired boy was treating the situation. He then realized he didn't have much time to dilly-dally, so he started to scoop up the sludge villain. So this wasn't the first time using your ability. Then why does it seem like you don't understand how it works? Oh, it's because it's different each time. I spin this roulette wheel and it basically gives me a random ability. Sometimes it could be cool, sometimes deadly, sometimes completely stupid. It's all in my luck. It's like researching and figuring out something new every step of my life. I just love it. All Might didn't quite understand the ability and was hoping to get a demonstration. He looked at his watch and realized that he had at least 2 minutes to spare before he had to hurry up out of there, putting the sludge villain in a bottle and then turning to Izuku. Do you mind demonstrating your ability for me? Izuku shrugged his shoulders as he released Underworld and allowed the roulette to reset. As he flicked his wrist, the roulette spinner started to spin. Sure thing, just be warned, sometimes things get really dangerous when I use this ability, or it's gonna end up making something really stupid. It's either or sometimes. All Might had a sweat drop as he found it hard to gauge the young man's ability. He says that it's powerful or could be completely stupid. How would one go in tandem with the other? That's all he could think about. I'm sure whatever happens will be educational. Maybe I'll be even able to give you some tips and tricks. Izuku waited a few more seconds when the dial finally stopped spinning. Looks like I got the smelt fruit. So what does that mean? I don't see any fruit, and if I'm correct, smelting means melting down materials and turning it into something else. How would you do that? Izuku saw the manhole cover and walked over to it as his hand started to burn bright red, helping him heat up the manhole cover. He just then consumed it as he was munching away at the materials. Give me a minute, I gotta work down the metal. All Might didn't know how to feel about what he was watching. The ability was completely different from earlier. Plus, he was eating metal like it was regular food. What exactly did you do to that manhole cover? Well, I needed material, and you can't smelt without material. He then pulls out of his stomach an iron bar that used to be the manhole cover that he just consumed. As you can see, I've turned that iron manhole cover into an iron bar. Fascinating. You truly do have a powerful ability. I hope you're planning on using your power to do great heroic things someday. I guess. I'm going to try out for UA and see what happens. A hero is cool and all, but sometimes it's hard to say that you're the good guy when you end up starting the disaster yourself, especially when you don't mean to. All Might was about to question that when he started to feel his transformation wasn't going to hold for much longer. Well then, I hope that you try to do great things with your ability, but I must be going. Izuku watched as All Might leaped into the sky and out of sight. Well, that was cool. Probably should have asked for a picture or maybe an autograph because I don't think anyone's going to believe me, but I always think of these things right after the fact. Oh well. When Izuku finally got home, he saw that his mother was going over a couple of documents at the kitchen table. Yo, Mom, what are you looking at? It seems that a couple of schools across Japan have actually sent recommendations for you. Even schools outside the country are willing to teach you. But I still need to know, are you sure you want to be a hero with abilities like yours? Izuku shrugged his shoulders as he went over to the pantry and pulled out a bag of chips. I guess it would be fun. I get a chance to try out all those random abilities that I have and see what could happen. Izuku, I really don't think you understand how dangerous your ability can be. I know that you've been laughing it off here and there, but to everybody else you've just been a walking disaster. When you put it like that, Mom, I'll probably be a great assistance to the rescue teacher. I could just walk around aimlessly using my ability while everybody else uses their to play rescue. Is this some kind of a game to you? I've told you time and time again, you should not be using your ability randomly. It's why a lot of schools have kicked you out and certain people have tried to take you from me. I know, right? I'm surprised they haven't sent any more guys in suits to take me off the street again. Do you think the last one being infused with the wall might have sent a message? I did paint his face afterwards. Can you please take this serious? I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned about everyone. I still don't know how you ended up with a quirk like this. I don't know either, but we can only hope for the best moving forward. All I can say is you can tear up those letters from other schools. The only school I want to go to is UA. If I'm gonna go there, then I might as well take the entrance exam just for fun. Hearing you say that doesn't make me feel any better, sweetie. A couple of months have passed leading up to the entrance exam. Izuku was looking around the courtyard, seeing a couple of new faces and some that he recognized. While he was looking around, he finally bumped into Bakugo. I was wondering when I was going to run into you, so I thought if I went around aimlessly, you would eventually find me. Oh, lucky me. I seem to have a trouble detection because it's going off like war horns right now. Oh, come on. This is going to be fun. Who knows what they're going to have us do, and for all you know, I might get a bunch of bad abilities and not even get into the school. Bakugo was very amused by the thought. As much as I probably would be better off from my anxiety to not have you in the same school as me, it wouldn't feel the same without you, bro. Now let's get in there and kick some ass. The both of them found their seats and were listening to President Mike's practical exam lecture as a guy with blue hair and glasses pointed out a misprint on the document that was different from the presentation. Bakugo was shaking his head at the random guy as Izuku was holding up his hand getting ready to use his roulette. Yo, Bakugo, should I use it just to shut him up so we can get this lecture over with? Down, boy, down. We don't need to destroy the entire meeting hall just because one guy decided to be annoying. Izuku leaned back in his seat like he was disappointed and just so bored listening to all these dumb rules. Fine, I'll play nice, but this better be over soon. I'm so bored. And you two, if you're going to keep talking over there and not take this serious, you shouldn't even be here. Bakugo face-palmed. Dude, please don't make a scene. My friend is one to get easily excited. I am trying to behave. Please don't give me a reason to play. President Mike quickly got on the speaker, trying to calm everybody down. Hold up. No need to cause a scene. I was about to explain everything that you wanted to know, sir. It's not right to pick a fight with people that could potentially be your future classmates. Now that everything has been pointed out, why don't we check the list and see which group is supposed to be with who, and make sure to go plus ultra. Everybody in the assembly hall started to leave, trying to get into their proper groups. Izuku was in group C, while Bakugo was in group A. The both of them gave each other a fist bump and separated. Only a few moments later did Izuku stand outside one of the mock cities, looking around like a tourist as he was getting closer and closer to the entrance of the city, only for him to have someone place their hand on his shoulder, stopping him from going any further. Even though Izuku was still trying to move forward, no matter what this person was trying to do to him, when the individual just forcefully turned Izuku around, revealing it was the blue-haired boy from earlier. You know, it's very rude when someone's trying to get your attention and yet you still shrug them off. Did your mother not teach you any manners? She did, And she didn't. It all depends on how you look at it. Everybody's version of manners is depending on their upbringing, and I feel like mine allows me to choose on who I want to talk to and who I don't want to talk to. You definitely got a mouth on you, don't you? If you're planning on being a distraction for everybody, you should just go home. This is a serious school for people who are truly serious about being heroes. No thanks, I just want to have some fun, and if I leave now, I'll probably be just so bored waiting for Bakugo all day. Is this some kind of joke to you? The blue-haired boy was getting ready to lecture Izuku when he noticed that he was already walking away. Hey, I'm talking to you, and I'm done talking with you. You're rude and you're boring. Before anything else could be done, the giant massive doors were swinging open. Everybody seemed to be confused, wondering what to do, only for Izuku to run into the mock city, pumping his arms into the air full of excitement as everybody just started yelling at him about starting early, only for President Mike to appear on top of the wall. Go, go, go! There are no countdowns in real battle! Everybody was shocked for a few seconds, but then quickly ran into the mock city. Izuku, already having a head start, could see some of the robots ahead as he flicked his wrist, starting the roulette spinner. Come on, give me something good. As he was getting closer, his whole body seemed to be covered in electricity, and his speed was increasing like crazy. Hey, I can feel that aura stuff again. This doesn't feel like that one where I punch really hard. It's called Godspeed. Running around at insane speeds, punching at some of the robots, not really doing much physical damage, but frying their circuits with all the electricity around him. After about 10 three-pointers going back and forth throughout the city, his ability started to fade away, causing Izuku to start tumbling at a very fast speed as he was rolling on the ground, only to be stopped by one of the robots. Oh. Thank you. The one-pointer robot looked down at Izuku, getting ready to swing at him, only for him to quickly get out of the way. Looking back where he was, there was a gash in the street, and people on the street told me these exams were not supposed to be lethal. What a bunch of lies. Flicking his wrist once more, the roulette spinner started once again, and once it finally stopped, it gave him the name of the Armored Titan. Oh god, I hate having to use these ones. He bit down on his own hand as sparks came down from the heavens, growing at least 20 meters tall, covering him in new flesh and skeleton with a hardened plate as Izuku looked down at the small robot. Well, now this just doesn't seem fair. The one-pointer looked at the situation and settled on retreating, but before it could get too far, a giant massive foot stomped down on it. Izuku walked around slowly and casually, trying not to step on anybody while he was using this form, not realizing that the wind pressure from each step that he took was shattering windows like crazy. He still wanted to get a few more points. We cut away to the monitoring room where most of the UA staff was watching this interesting development. Nezu was very entertained watching Izuku go from using lightning-like abilities so carefree to now turning into a 20-meter giant. I have to say, this boy is very interesting. His ability is so unique that I can't tell what it is yet. Eraserhead was pondering what kind of quirk allows you to have such versatility. I can't tell either, but his attitude is a little bit too laid back for my liking. All Might chuckled to himself. So this is what he meant. Is there something you would like to share with the rest of us? Do you perhaps know the boy? I don't particularly know him, but I bumped into him a few months back dealing with a sludge villain where he was explaining how his ability could either be really good or really bad. He didn't seem to have an understanding of it himself, or at least that's what he was willing to tell me at the time. Oh, I see. His ability is complete gamble. How fascinating. Looking at a giant red button for a few few seconds, he decided to press it with his small paw. Let's see how he handles this along with the others. We cut back to the mock city where everybody was still trying to get points, but at the same time trying not to get stepped on by the giant monster that showed up. Not knowing if it was a part of the exam or some other applicant, no one could really tell, so Izuku decided to take a break and just lean on one of the nearby buildings, knowing that he had plenty of points. But that's when he started to notice all the normal sized people that were running away, even leaving robots that weren't fully defeated behind. Looking at the ground, he couldn't understand, but that's when he heard a loud thumping noise from behind him and turned around and came face to face with the 0-pointer. Before he could even put his hands up, he was punched right in the face, slamming into one of the nearby skyscrapers. Surprised to see a robot on his height, he decided to forget about the collateral and just have fun as he came running out of the building like a football star tackling into the 0-pointer. The both of them go bulldozing right through a couple of buildings before Izuku separates from the robot. Come on, big guy, entertain me. Everybody was panicking, trying to get out of the way of the two giants that were throwing punch after punch at each other. Izuku could barely feel the punches anymore because of the armor, but he did notice every punch that he threw was breaking off a piece of the 0-pointer. Izuku was getting annoyed on how lame and lackluster this battle was. He grabbed the 0-pointer by the head and tried to pull it off, but it wasn't coming off easily. So he started to spin, trying to take the 0-pointer's head off clean, only for him to cause it to swirl into the air, knocking over more buildings. But after at least 2 minutes of spinning, the robot's body finally came loose from the head and flying, hitting the border wall and knocking it over. Izuku crushed the head with both of his hands. When he realized what he just did, the only thing that came to his mind was, oops, did I overdo it again? I hope nobody died. But that's where I'm going to leave this trailer off this time, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a very special thing to me, and I really enjoyed working on it. Show your support by leaving a like and comment down below. But with all that said, guys, I'm out this time. Peace!